Blanchard, and this is Average Joe Sports Talk, and you are watching the latest episode of Friday Night Wives. And Friday Night Wives is brought to you by Aligned Insurance as well as Auto Owners Insurance, but I don't see them on this sign. But you also don't see Michael DeLozier, the good-looking bald stud in the jacket, so we'll have to find you a picture of him later as well. But that's what you need to look for when you're looking for Aligned Insurance. And I'm here tonight with a very special guest. I usually let people introduce themselves, but this is my mom. And before anyone gets in the comments and is like, how did the mighty oak come from the tiny acorn? How did the brunette come from the blonde? You can take that up with Jesus, and the best place to do that is in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru line. So, Mom, I would like to ask what it's like to be married to Dad, but I know. But why don't you tell them?
Wow. I don't know you were going to start with that. Well, it's been fun. I mean, we've had some really great, especially football season. Football season's always a lot of fun. We've had some really great times. We've got, a wonderful family. And my only complaint is that sometimes when you're married to a coach, like you're constantly being coached, like he forgets to leave the coach mode at home sometimes. You know that. I mean, at school sometimes. At school,
yeah.
But you know that because so we're always in coach mode, but I wouldn't trade it.
You wouldn't trade him?
No.
Like not even for Matthew McConaughey? Bye, Dad.
No, not even for Matthew McConaughey.
Just kidding, Pop. So, I would usually use this time to go into like how did he propose, but I know there was no real proposal. There was more of a statement of we should get married, and Mom went along with it, which is also how I talked her into doing the show. I just said, you're going to be on Thursday, and she said, okay, and James Blanchard said, we're going to get married, and she was like, cool,
okay. What's that coach thing? Like, the coach gives you orders, and that's what you do, so it was kind of one of those. It was inevitable, I guess.
So before she came on, I was like, hey, I really need you to wear one of your state championship pendants, and out of all the state championship pendants she had to choose from, she went with this one. And tell us why you went with this one.
This one is from Bailey, which is Tara's little brother. I don't know if you... It was his senior year, and so, he just... I don't know, it was the storybook ending to his senior year. He had been injured during the season and kind of battled through, and that team, they've been together their whole lives. And, I mean, I love those boys. I still love them today. And so it was a special group. It was a special season, and I'll never forget. Like I guess the moment in that season that I remember the most was when we were at home in the playoffs, and I realized I was like, I'm watching him play his last game at Piedmont, and Rachel Smith, the head coach's wife, came over to me and she put her arm around my shoulder and she said, "Stop crying, stop." She said, "It's going to end happy." And it did. It ended happy at Tuscaloosa, where Bailey was able to win a state championship. And I guess that was, is this number 2? No, this was number 3.
What a problem to have.
I can't. Anyway, normally though, I wear the most recent one to the games the next year. But this one, I picked this one up tonight just for the occasion, for Bailey's. Because that was the year that that bunch that was such a special group to us won it. So
yes, because Bailey needs a shout out. Because fast fact, this is my mother's favorite child.
Not true. That is not true. That is not true.
It's a fact. She tends to gravitate towards things that need her, and Bailey needs to be loved.
Poor Bailey.
See? Do you guys see what I put up with? But it's very special. A special state championship. I like my brother sometimes. I like him. Santa's watching. It's Santa time. It's time for Santa to be watching. So I need to know, do you have any, I know, but you're weird. And like, I know there are some pregame rituals that are like straight up what we have to do. And then I feel like you might have a shrine in your closet. Like, I don't know your whole life. I know a lot of it from the inside out, but I don't know your whole life.
Okay, so... Yes, I do. On Friday is game day, and right down to what I'm going to put on my body matters from the very beginning. And so I worry about, especially during playoffs, like once we have won a game and something, And James fusses at me about that. He's like, if what we do on the field depends on what you wear, we're not a very good football team. That's what he tells me. But it doesn't matter to me because I still feel like I have to have the right things on. So, the right clothes, the right, like I said, the pendant. Every year I try to. One year I actually went for 3, but I kind of felt like Mrs. T.
Like a boss. Oh yes, I keep the bank rolling. Like a boss.
So I decided that maybe we just needed to go with like the most recent one. So usually the most recent pendant, and then a bracelet that my friend Pam gave me years ago that just says "Believe." I wear that to every football game. Aunt Pam. Mm-hmm. And the right earrings. I wear the same earrings every week once we get started, once the season gets going. And like I said, once we get the playoffs, whatever I wore the first game of the playoffs, it's pretty much you're going to see it as far as we go.
Well, and I know Meg did not want me to talk about, she said, please don't ask Mom about her game day underwear. So I'm not going to ask you. But Mom has game day underwear. So now you know.
I said start from what I put on at the very beginning. I was trying to say it delicately. But
Mom has game day draws.
Yeah, one year they even had holes in them. I wore them anyway. I didn't care.
And now Meg's dead. I'm well on my way to being an only child, which is just the way I wanted it.
So yes, and I'm better now. But I used to have music that I would have to play on the way to the game, like the Boys of Fall. I always had to hear "In the Air Tonight," and then always Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer." If that didn't play, I couldn't breathe in the stadium. But I'm getting better.
With a lot of help and therapy, she's getting better. Only you can prevent wildfires.
So there you go. I'm improving. I don't have to have the music. Of course, I don't have a radio in my car.
That is true. Thanks to my brother, the favorite child, who backed over a fire hydrant at a party with another few players from that state championship team after they're in college. The radio's gone. Thanks, babe. Yeah.
Not sure it's connected, but okay.
James Blanchard said it was.
How does running over a fire hydrant take out the radio?
Now, James Blanchard will swear up and down because they dented the back passenger door to Mom drives a Captiva, so if you ever want to egg one of the Blanchard cars, the silver Captiva is my mom, so don't do it. You'll hurt her feelings. But they had backed in the fire hydrant and it dented the door all in, and then something had not sealed back, or it didn't seal back, and so then water got in it. Yeah, and so now the radio is gone, and so whenever we're like, hey, turn on the radio, Dad's like, we can't because of your brother. And I'm like, you know what? I said, let's not have any more kids. I'm just voting. As an 8-year-old with a diplomatic vote, because we live in America and you should be able to vote and let your voice be heard. I said, hey, let's not have any more children, and they did it anyway. So all I'm saying is that if you guys had taken my advice,
it was a democracy.
You'd have
there
a radio.
Were 2 of us and only 1 of her. So there you go.
We should have gone for Parliament. We should have done that.
Electoral college, but whatever.
That's fine.
Yeah, too soon.
Yeah. Whoa.
Probably.
We should have recounted Georgia. No, I'm just kidding. So now, Mom, you also, we have failed to neglect. We have failed to mention Madden. And a fun story about my mother and Madden is that when I was pregnant with Madden, I would threaten my mom that Madden was going to call her Moo Moo. And as you can see, my mother's 105 pounds on a really, really good day. And so Mom was just beside herself that Madden was going to call her Moo Moo, and she hated it. And the way that I show love is to pester you mercilessly. So it gave my sadistic soul a thrill for my mother to genuinely believe that my child was going to be birthed, and I was going to be like, that's your Moo Moo. And she hated that.
Yes.
Well, Mom, do you have any fun stories about James Blanchard to tell?
Wait, let me just go ahead. She calls me BB now.
Oh, she does call her BB. I'm sorry.
I nipped that in the bud. I said, let me do some research. I'm going to figure out something. I'm not going to be like Mama, because I don't feel like
But if you are a Mama, that's fine.
It's fine to be a Mama, but I just wasn't ready for that yet. So, and I don't want to be Grandma, because my mom is Grandma. And so I did some research, and I discovered that, BB was kind of like a Scandinavian way of calling grandma. So I thought, well, just be BB, because I was going to be Grandma Blanchard, so Grandma B, Grandma BB. So there you go. So BB.
Well, yes, and it's also because my dad's mom was, him and my Uncle Fran called her Ma. And for some reason that drove my mom crazy. And I will say that over the years I've developed calling her Ma, but it's because
Ma, the meatloaf!
so I'll scream that down the hallways every now and again for really good measure. So I got to keep Ma, we ditched Moo Moo, now she's BB. Now tell me about James Blanchard, because I don't know anything about the man other than he's balding.
I don't know what you want to know. He is the most driven human I think I've ever known. I mean, like he is like, when he's on something, he's on it. It's got to happen. It's got to happen right now. And on his time. And I'm not, not disparagingly, but I mean, just like we can be sitting around and he'll decide it's time to go somewhere, and he'll get up, and as soon as he's ready, everybody else should be ready, even though we haven't had a lot of warning that we're going somewhere or we're doing something. So everybody kind of has to be on his time. Like I said, he's always in coach mode. But during the season, like, you won't find I'm going to give him a shout out. You won't find a harder working coach. He makes his little cards, and when they don't work, when a play he doesn't like it, he'll tear it in. Maybe you could give him too many secrets. I don't know. He'll tear it, and I find them on the counter. If they're torn, I know that wasn't a good play. Like, he's making sure he doesn't accidentally get that one into the rotation. And he gets up early. He stays up late. During the season, like he's all in. Like, if he's in, he's all in. And
I know for a fact that he skips dinner. And when you go, hey, dinner's ready, he's like, I'm working on my place. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But dinner's still ready.
That is a little pet peeve, but it's okay. It's all good.
Now, let's talk about the Coach Smith, James Blanchard Dream Team, because I feel like you have a wonderful offense and a wonderful defense. And I love Coach Smith. And I love my dad too, but there's some hero worship there for me with Coach Smith. But I feel like they're the dynamic duo.
Yes, absolutely. And this was like something that it was kind of a God thing, because James was at center, and he was okay there. But then Coach Smith called him, and everybody said, "Why are you're going to Piedmont? Why are you sure?" And they talked about it, and it worked. Everything, like, we weren't even really looking for that position, and everything has worked out. And I see, and I think Tarsh probably talked about this on the show before, but I'm in a coach wife group, and a lot of those ladies will talk about, like, oh, well, what time of the year it is, we're packing, we're moving, because coach life can be that way, and I feel like, having grown up military, I could have been okay with that, because I know what it is to have to pack every couple of years. But we have been so blessed to be in the same community, the same school for I guess it's 15 years now, because it was 2005. We've been in the same place, the same people. They've welcomed us. They've loved on us. They've been so good. Rachel is an absolutely precious person. The other coach wives, we all get along. We all sit together at home games. And it's still funny, like, as many years as James has been coaching, because, we didn't know what we wanted to be when we grew up. So I didn't come into knowing I was going to be a coach wife. But I still have to look at Rachel and go, what was that call? What's wrong with that? Like, why are we cheering? I understand football. I do. Like, I know, first down, but the whole plays. And I can remember, and I'll just tell this on myself. When I was younger, I was kind of a nerd. Hard to believe, I know. She's not going along with me there. But anyway, I always thought, well, those dumb jocks, and how, that's athletes, and everybody's just all. And then I got to looking at what they have to learn to understand the plays. And, James will be like, well, this is a down block, or this guy's supposed to get upfield. And I don't even know what you're talking about.
All she knew was downstage, center stage.
Downstage, center stage, that was my thing. So that was my bag. But yeah, and I'm going to tell this on myself too. This is probably embarrassing. Okay, so when I was doing my student teaching, I was older, and I did it with Coach Shields, who's at Hopes Bluff now. Fantastic basketball coach. Probably one of the best
basketball coach, period.
And he would had his basketball team. So just, of course, so I would go in there on his basketball time because I didn't have anything to do in the classroom. I was doing my student teaching under him, and he was talking about getting up court and down court and all these things, and you know, going high and going low. And finally, one day I said, "Coach, I know I sound really stupid, but it's a flat court," and he just died. So yeah, he sat down, he explained it all to me. So I feel much smarter about all games after Coach Shields.
Well, you know, he is the coach that said it is a miracle that Taradon can walk and chew gum at the same time.
He's right sometimes.
All the time. Still one of my favorite people.
So yeah, but I had to learn. I had to learn a lot about football because I didn't grow up playing. I never played growing up. In fact, I'll just go ahead and tell this too while I'm at it.
Thank you.
Very athletic family, the Blanchards. I don't know if you know anybody around may be familiar with that, but Cody, my nephew, very good football player, very good baseball player, very good all-around player. We'd play in the yard. His first pick would always be to not pick me. Like, Cody, you got first pick. I don't want it run down my team. That was his first pick, and then he didn't care who he got after that. So I'm a great cheerleader, though. Like, I will cheer with the best of them. I will give myself that.
That is, tell them what you have in your shake. Piedmont is they're the most known for their shakers. We're not a cowbell school. We're not like a bullhorn or anything.
I have a cowbell.
Now it's a new addition, but Piedmont is notorious for their shakers that are made out of random recycled bottles. And go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, this was Rachel. I feel like I'm telling her secrets. But in 2009, when we were making a state championship run, the first year that they won, you know, I just trying to go along with it, you know, trying to do what everybody else was doing. We were making shakers and making bottles. People were putting rocks and shakers and coins and bottles and things. And Rachel came in and she said, "I put BBs in mine." And I was like, "BBs?" She said, "Yeah, steel BBs." She said, "They're loud." And I was like, all right. So of course, being, you know, I was not going to be outdone. So I went and got a little, it's an all laundry detergent, just a small one, you know, so it had a little handle jug, and I filled it with BBs. And that was 2009, mind you. I still carry that same jug to this day. I had it all decorated up at that time. Today, it's pretty bad. It looks terrible.
Battered.
It's battered, it's shaken, but it has been to every single game. Like, I even sneak it into the state championship games. Just in case. But yeah, I'll wrap it up in something, and even though you're not supposed to have them in there, maybe it's been there. I'll go ahead and say it. I don't think AHSAA is watching this.
I mean, no, they're not, because they hate us, and I would apologize, but I don't really care, so suck on that.
I can't confirm that it is loud. Plus, it scared me and the kids half to death.
I'm sorry.
We were sitting in front of y'all. And the team come running out at halftime, and everybody on that side was shaking
Shaking
stuff.
the shaker. Well, I think all the coach wives have BBs at this point now. I think we've all.
It's a law.
It's a thing. It's a thing. So, they're loud.
They are loud, and I love how Rachel has always been like I have BBs because they're loud. Like, everyone's like dropping coins in. I have BBs because they're loud. Duh. Why would you not?
Why would you not?
But yeah, like, Ben refuses to sit, like, if Andy Frost, Coach Smith's sister, is there, he's like, I will not sit in front of Andy because she shakes the whole game. And so then one night he got the misfortune of sitting in front of Rachel, and he was like, she makes Andy, like, they shake so much. And so then he's like, well, I'll just sit in front of your mom because, like, she's so docile. Then he sat in front of my mom, and he's like, you know what? I'm not sitting with anybody. I'll sit by myself.
It's we're a spirited bunch now. We like our boys. We love our team. In fact, my kids got me an Apple Watch for my birthday. I'll just go ahead and brag on my kids. And it has like all of the activity rings. And so one of I think maybe it was the Grissom game, which is a big game. You know, playing 7A school was a big deal. So I'm shaking my shaker, and I looked down at my watch, had a notification that said, it looks like you're starting a workout. She liked us. I was like, no, I'm good. So yeah, it was that intense. It was fun.
Now, see, I'm so competitive, I'm disappointed in her for not being like, as a matter of fact, I am working out. Just count all those, Mom.
Just count those calories.
Count those. So also, speaking of calories, why don't you tell them, like, what special recipes that you have?
You're a jerk. I'm a terrible cook. I'm really Like when Bailey went off to school, I would say, well, son, you just let me know what you want to cook when you get home. And he's like, oh, we're good, Mom. Thanks. You know, if your friends are coming over, like, can we just order pizza? I'm like, okay. I mean, I get it. You know, we all have our strengths, and that is not mine. So, yeah, I have no special recipes. Although, I will tell you that Southern Living, their little online deal with all the recipes they have, it's pretty good stuff right there.
Yes,
Much
Mom.
better than Rachel Ray.
Wow, fighting words. Look at Josh's face. He's scared.
I'm sorry. Rachel Ray not talked me into, but I made purple chicken that her high school boyfriend probably still makes fun of to this day. It was terrible.
It was bad. It turned it purple. It's tarragon chicken. Tarragon chicken. Tarragon tastes like licorice. Now, why anyone in their right mind would say
I'll put that in chicken.
black licorice and chicken would make it merge together? What a beautiful marriage. I don't know, but it was bad.
It was bad. In fact, on the way home from one of their games, way back in the day,
He was from Piedmont too.
he was
Thanks,
going to
Mom.
come to the house, and she said, well, Mom's got some leftover stuff. And he says, not that chicken, is it? You know? And she said something, and I think his comment was, well, it's not the worst thing she ever made. So.
And then Mom's like, what else have I made besides spaghetti?
So, I don't know. Anyway, but cooking is not my strength, so I can't help that.
What can you do? She's been very fortunate though, because all of her spawn, like all of our people, like Ben's real good about feeding himself.
Yes.
Well, my ex-husband made me learn how to cook, so now I'll usually try to cook, or Ben will feed himself, because I cook bougie. Like I cook like with weird ingredients too. Me and Rachel, got you, girl. But that tarragon chicken was bad. And then like Bailey's girlfriend eats like 3 grains of rice a day, so you don't have to feed Emery. And then Meg's boyfriend Jake will feed himself on the way. So Mom's usually like, well, I'm gonna make a salad. And then poor James Blanchard, he doesn't eat anyway because he's busy making cards, Rhonda, my God. And so it works out well. And Madden eats Easy Mac, so our family is fed. But Josh, do you have any questions for my mom? I know that Buddy was like, don't do this without... Buddy, guys, sweet little Buddy, is in the hospital room right now waiting on Niana to birth their first son, baby Dion. And Dion's taking his sweet time. And Dion's not his real name, but I will call him Dion for forever. But Buddy was like, don't do this without me being there because I have so many questions. But sorry, Buddy. Sorry.
I'm sad.
What was Tara? Tell us some Tara stories
Tara stories.
when she was growing up.
Wow. Well, let me just go ahead and tell you that my Tara Madden, you know, Tara is such a, like she could have been a boy, except, I mean, she's beautiful, obviously, but like, you know, from the outside, not, maybe not, but her inside, she definitely has that, like that drive, that like, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to kill myself to prove you wrong kind of mentality. And when she was expecting Madden, she was convinced that she was going to have a boy because she didn't know what she would do with the girl. So I'm in class one day, and the secretary comes to my door and she knocks on the door and she says, Miss Blanchard, your daughter needs you to call her. And I mean, I had a cell phone, but I had always told my family, like, if it's an emergency, don't call my cell phone, call the office, you know, because I try to model that for my students. And so she comes in, she says, your daughter needs you to call her. So I'm going to tell my kids, I'm like, this is an emergency. So I step out in the hallway and I call Tara and I'm like, Tara, what's wrong? And she is, you can tell she's fighting back tears, and she's, Mom, it's a girl. I said, Tara, is she healthy? Fingers, toes, everything. Yeah, everything's fine. She's a girl.
Everything there but one thing.
Everything's fine. Well, Tara, I said, you just need to, you know, thank God that it's, you know, you're going to have a healthy baby, you know. And she was like, I know. And I said, you're going to be fine as a girl, Mom. You know, but she wanted the football players. She wanted the, you know, she wanted all of that. And, you know, God made, well, he's giving it to her now on the sidelines with those boys. So,
Yeah,
but
those
yeah,
Piedmont boys,
that
those
was
are my babies.
That was fun. That was funny.
My babies.
Like at the time, she didn't think it was funny, but it was funny to me because she was so devastated to think that she was going to have to be a girl mom. She's a great girl mom. Like Madden has the bows. She has all of the frou-frou, like, you know. When she decided she's going to figure it out, she figured it out, just like she has everything else that she's ever done. Like she, you know, once she takes a mind to it, she's she's there. But no, she, personality wise, she and I are different. Like, we're night and day. I mean, and so we always joke that she was like our guinea pig kid, because honestly, we had no idea what we were doing when we were trying to raise her. And so we made a lot of mistakes. A lot. There was, I don't know if I should even tell this, but James' first year at Piedmont.
No hesitation.
Just go ahead. His first year at Piedmont. No, it's a second year. They had made the playoffs and they were going to had to go to Red Bay, which is all the way across the state.
Oh.
And I had, because I can't not be nice, I had invited one of her friends from Center, and I was like, you should ride with us. And of course he was like, well, that'd be great. So then I'm like, well, you have to ride with us because I can't ride across the state with me and this teenage boy.
No, he had graduated.
Yes, he had graduated.
He had graduated. He was older than I was.
Oh yeah, he was.
And a great friend though, like a wonderful friend. But I didn't want to go to stinking Red Bay, and I still don't want to go to stinking Red Bay.
And it was cold. It was going to be cold, and she knew it was going to be cold. She's like, I want to ride all the way across the state to the game where it's going to be that cold, and I don't really care that much if they win because she had not invested that much in Piedmont at that point. And so yeah, we got into a little fuss that night. I won't go to all the details, but yeah. So she definitely
direct message me, and I'll tell you. I think it's past the statute of limitations. CPS can't take me away. CPS won't take away adult children.
So yeah, it was bad. I don't really get upset about much though, but I was really feisty that night.
I dug my heels in too.
So we have had our, we had our clashes, the mom-daughter clashes and stuff. Usually Tara wins. She's a little more headstrong than I am. But then James comes home and sets things right. So,
like, we are the epitome of wait till your father gets home.
Yes,
and I'm like,
absolutely.
All right, fine.
Absolutely.
I'm going to make you miserable until that moment.
But then I'm
going to start washing dishes. Like, I'm taking clean dishes out to wash them.
When you got the news that you were having Tara, did the name Tara immediately come to you? Was that it from day one, or was there any other names that you had considered?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we'll just go ahead and just be transparent with the whole world, because if you can add, it doesn't, take long to figure this out. James and I weren't actually even married when I found out I was having Tara. We had done everything the wrong way. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, but yes. But like I said, and it's funny because people have actually said, it's wonderful that you've taken her in. I'm like, well, she's mine.
She had to.
But anyway, so yeah, but my sister-in-law, Tara, my sister-in-law's name is Tara. She and Fran, James's brother, were like, look, whatever you got to do, we'll help you, we'll do whatever. I mean, because it wasn't the best news that James had ever heard, not at that point. He's real happy now.
It's still not. It's still not the best
news. But anyway,
news.
she was very influential in just the whole, everything, just making it work. And so, in fact, our wedding was actually at their house. We got married at their house, and DeLozier of Aligned Insurance, he was there.
The bald stud.
Yes.
Did you have hair then?
No.
See, he's always been bald and always been studly.
So there you go. But yeah, so Tara was, it was actually in her honor. So she is actually Tara Dawn, which was a little confusing when we first moved to Center, because I didn't know, that they were going to end up growing up in the same community, and so we would have Tara Dawn and Tara. So we tried like Big Tara and Little Tara, but obviously older Tara did not like being big. No, who wants that? So then it just became like kind of Tara and Tara Dawn. But yeah.
Now why don't you tell them about what Fran Blanchard busted up with?
He wanted her to be Bo, and honestly, now looking back,
Bo Jackson.
As in Bo Jackson.
We're almost sitting down to Friday Night Wives with Bo Jackson.
It would have been Bo Blanchard, but I wasn't thinking like Bo Derek. I was thinking Bo Jackson. I'm like, I can't name her after a dude. But yeah.
We're talking like actual B.O., not
B.O. Like,
yeah, he was thinking B.O. And in hindsight, I was like, we could have gone with B.E.A.U. Is that how you would have done it, Bo Derek? But anyway, so I missed that opportunity. But I am, like I said, my sister-in-law's always been kind of a rock, and she made growing up fun.
She did.
So
Aunt Tara was the coolest.
She was the coolest. She still is. She still is the cooler one. You probably should have interviewed her, but
but she's not Coach's wife. So
anyway,
that would have made things weird. Like, welcome to Friday Night Wives. This is my Aunt Tara. Her husband sells real estate.
She's been to a game before.
One time, she was a cheer sponsor. Like, thanks, Mom. Way to make it weird.
Okay, sorry.
But no, I know that you are probably sick of sitting here with me on camera because my mom loves me in real life.
I do very much.
She loves us all in real life. Like, Mom actually loves Madden so much that when Madden was born in Tennessee, they came up in the middle of the night to be there when she was born, and it was still, I mean, like, school is still going on. Like, she's a teacher, Dad's a teacher, and my sweet dad, like, someone had broken into our house the night that I was in labor, so he went back and he cleaned the house and everything for me, and they're, you know, James Blanchard he's the best pop in the world, like, bar none, and Madden adores her pop. Like, she thinks it's so cool to see him at school. But on the way home, like, they're heading back to Alabama. Like, I'm home from the hospital with this baby that I don't know what to do with. And Mom's crying, and Dad looks at her, and he's like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "I can't believe they sent that baby home with Tara." And he was like, "I think she's going to be okay." And Mom was like, "I don't know." But I mean, look, 5 years strong.
There you go. You did it. You did a good job.
Your parents are always in your corner, but not that time. Oh. But, well, Mom, I appreciate your time and you letting me bust you out on camera, because you know I would have done it off camera anyway. So might as well have witnesses.
That's right. That's right.
But, well, I love you, Ma.
I love you too.
Where's the meatloaf? Mom does make a banging meatloaf. There's no veggies in it.
That's one thing.
It's a literal loaf of meat. You can't beat it. But, well, thank you so much. And you have just borne witness to the latest episode of Friday Night Wives. And this was with the Piedmont Defensive Coordinator's wife, Rhonda Blanchard, a.k.a. Ma. And, you know, she belongs to James Blanchard. But this is also brought to you by Aligned Insurance and Auto Owners Insurance. And when you're looking for that, look for the handsome bald guy in the suit. That's Michael DeLozier, and he will give you the best deal. Tell him that I sent you. And you might even get like a pin or something for free. Thanks, guys.